and he lets him advertise, and then can't. I'll be back in a moment or two, guys. He is in the lobby, so he's definitely around here. In the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player is PartinG, taking on the blue Zerg in the top right Rogue. Playing on Zen for map 1. This is a map where PartinG did open with a cannon rush earlier against Impact in game number 3. Now already builds the pylon up on the high ground, which could suggest the ideal fully worn with Gateway, Forge, etc. So maybe we'll see something of that. Let's see what he does. So we'll have the Gateway dropping down, and the first probe will begin to go across the map and goes out to the left, which suggests it's going to come up to the top, and he's going to get into that cannon rushing position. So he's going to put himself up here, going to get himself ready to cannon rush this up. Now look at this though, Rogue, gas pool opening immediately will help defend this, and an overload in position to watch for this as well. So whilst you might not have given Rogue any hints along the way as to what Innovation was up to, Rogue definitely feels like he's had a bit of an idea as what PartinG's getting up to here. And PartinG will begin this cannon rush, has no idea that Rogue is just watching it happen. So Rogue just sits here, hangs out, and he's instantly going to start a second gas and play one base. He's just going to drop a Roach Roaring. As soon as the spawning pool finishes up, he'll go Roach Roaring, be able to get some Roaches up, and obviously from there being able to respond to this so quickly, especially with the extra gas, the Ravager count will be quite high. This should be pretty good for this. PartinG scouts, and he's going to see no natural, he's going to see second gas, and a spine already building, so now PartinG knows that his opening here has been figured out a little bit, as you see the probe just hanging out over to the left, just kind of obviously watching around as the first cannon will be finishing soon, and the second cannon, Cybercore at home. We're waiting to see that robo facility expected to come down here, of course, so waiting for that as a few Lings will push forward to try and get rid of this first pylon in the main base. Won't quite happen as the Spine Crawler about to be done. Not done just yet, and there indeed is our robo facility. So this is where it gets dangerous, because this is where, if shield batteries and cannons come up in the main, that robo is going to become, the Immortals are going to become very deadly, because they're going to have so much support in the main base. What can you do about it? Feelings will go across the map, look to force the early cannon at home, 150 minerals. That will not be there to kind of continue across the map. So again, the Lings will go over, then probably pull back once that cannon gets forced, and then deal a bit of damage. He's going to kill this pylon, mind you, so no high ground vision, no high ground at all until he gets the Warp Prism. And that really takes away one of the the strong positions of this here that PartinG would try and like to do a bit with, as we're going to see a Ravager popping out. That'll come forward here and drop down a Corrosive Bile. So this cannon taking some damage, loses the probes, and now you've actually lost high ground vision completely. So he's going to start with the Observer, and then Rogue is just going to be, Corrosive Bile in between the cannon and the pylon. He will kill off the pylon. The cannon was getting shield batteried, so cannon's going to go down too, and there's really just no forward progress here from PartinG at all. So he has no forward progress, and this is going to make it very difficult to do anything. There is actually, he lost the Forge over on this side of the map, so now you can't even rebuild cannons. I wasn't paying much attention to those Links, so I just assumed they'd force a cannon and get away, but actually killing the Forge is kind of crazy. Immortal Chrono boosting out from PartinG in the top side there, the Observer coming back up into the main base as well. So at least now he has high ground vision again, but these Ravagers have gone down out on the map. They're going to go for the pylon. If they kill this pylon in the next moment or two, I mean, it might not even matter if it's in the next moment or two. As long as he gets it and empowers the cannons, this Immortal is on its own. It's going to get shut down, and absolutely everything is going to fall here. So PartinG is going to lose his army. He's going to lose this game. GG's out. Rogue will take game number 1. Alright, game number 2, and in the top right-hand side, an unsuccessful scouted attack in the first game, and somewhat blind counted as well. Let's see what he can come up with in game number 2. On Eternal Empire, it is PartinG taking on the Red Zerg in the bottom left-hand side from Generic Green Rings Rogue, who really also wasn't looking too hot in these qualifiers until today. Now showing up 1-0 in the qualifying match, looking to get there and have a chance to go to Katowice, and of course attempt to retake the Katowice title for the last time before it becomes the new World Championship with the ESL Pro Tour. And obviously then the entire Katowice format will change. It'll no longer be this event that we have kind of coming through kind of every year as like an open bracket and all these qualifiers. It will just be like the new BlizzCon, so
there still will be an open bracket though, no?
Is it still,
but slightly different.
Is it not based on like
I think, yeah, it's not quite
points,
open.
Though?
It's
Yeah,
a closed bracket, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think there's still going to be a bracket, but it's going to be like, you have to have like EPT points to to kind of take part. So, because there's going to be like 36 players there, right? So it's kind of a lot of players.
Oh, look at this! Look at this overlord positioning. You see it?
Watching for it.
Well, on the natural, the overlord positioning there. Like he barely misses the cannon.
Yeah, yeah. Right, he actually moved away.
Oh.
Oh my god, Rogue. No! You're so close.
This is another pool first, though. It's another pool first.
Yeah, he sees the
This guy
progress
has no shame.
Man, he's playing Partin, man. He's just like, you know, I know the shenanigans you get up to. So he's just going to go pool first twice in a row. He's going to steal the gas, though. That's nice. Because last game, Rogue was able to go double gas quickly, and that gives you so many Ravagers so early in the game. This time, obviously, the cannon's up, and this pylon will come through. There's no early spines, so this is going a bit better for Partin this time around, all because that Overlord just misses what's going on.
Is that the top part of the cannon actually covered by the low ground cannon?
I don't think so, right? It's kind of
doesn't look
high
like
ground
it.
is
Yeah,
like
okay, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. That was a good attempt. I was thinking, there's no way that's covered. And Rogue had a similar feeling. This looks really bad for parting again, by the way.
Yeah. You need high ground and stuff in the main base to really make this work, right?
No, in this case he actually doesn't need this as much because there's no Ravagers on the way.
Right.
So, in theory, it's possible to play without, but he's just gonna lose 2 cannons for free to the spines eventually, which really sucks. Like, it's nice, especially with Link defenses, to have cannons, right? Like, they're very helpful. Now we do see the Observer being chrono boosted, and these batteries will be able to keep these cannons alive for a bit. Actually, this might be fine for parting here.
Yeah, if the cannons can get rid of these spines fast enough. Queen pulls back. Queen is an energy away from having transfuse. In the end, doesn't drop it, just pulls the spines back, so the cannons will stay alive. Remember that this game Rogue has a natural as well, so he's got a bit of extra lava down there. He's actually making a couple extra drones. Obviously with the Observer first for the high ground vision. There's no immediate immortal, so sneaking a couple extra drones in there. Across the map, he's having keeping an eye on what's going on as well. Here comes that first immortal, soon to be joined by a warp prism afterwards. And that's where the aggression really will begin.
Yeah, and I believe what Rogue's plan is... Okay, never mind. I don't know what... maybe in Nidus now. Yeah. I thought that he was gonna go for the mass expand route, which we've seen before, where you just keep building drones and expand while adding more and more queens. So you don't care about the units, and eventually you'll have like 14 queens, and you have infinite transfuse, so you don't actually lose units anymore. So every time you push back the prism with the immortals, you lose like 150 energy, and he'll need to heal up, he'll come back, you lose like some energy again. Meanwhile, you have like 45 or 50 workers or whatever, and you're completely fine. That's a very cool way to play. Another thing you can do, I guess, is proxy or Nidus your opponent. But this works a little less good if they have a cannon in their mineral line, which PartinG, by the way, does not.
Nope. Mineral line completely barren at the moment. As he comes around, I like the lair on the natural as well, because obviously PartinG's focus is going to be in the main, so he doesn't see the lair, so he doesn't think about Nidus at all, right? But if you see a lair, you're like, well, what's he building a lair for? What's that going to be?
Yeah, it's either Nidus or Spire. Like, yeah. No one really goes 2-base Hydra against the cannon rush.
The Spore Crawler goes down. I mean, these Immortals continue to make good progress. Spire. Oh, Rogue is going to go Spire. Okay. Well, at least he's going to keep it hidden for a while, and that probably explains why he's been taking the extra gas on the natural. Man, obviously just feels like Rogue's got to hang on for so long here, though, until that Spire comes online.
Yeah, I think he will be able to do it. The thing is, though, if PartinG figures this out, and he builds a Stargate, the game just kind of ends. Like, this is a massive gamble, and there's an Observer, and he's spotting it! Oh, no! He sees the layer, but doesn't see the tag. But he sees a second gas, so he might have an inkling. Oh, the prison dies!
Oh my god, the Immortal's now going to be stranded unless there's some sort of energy for a recall, which there is not because he doesn't go for it. So the Immortals go down, and that's how Rogue will just clean up to win the game. It doesn't even matter what tech there is. Can't lose the Warp Prism. Too far away from the shield batteries. Rogue takes game 2. You never know what's next on Base Trade TV, man.
You never know what's next. Alright. In the top left, spawning as the Blue Protoss. He's down 2-0, but he's made comebacks way harder than this. It is DPG's PartinG. And in the bottom right, spawning as the Red Zerg. It's the guy who managed to thwart 2 cannon rushes in rapid fashion. It is Jin Air, Green Wings, Rogue.
Gotta feel pretty great as Rogue, man. Like, 2 nice, pretty easy wins, right? You know, this game 2 was going a bit sour, but then you pick up a win from, like, that position, and now you're, like, 1 map away. Like, mentally, you've got to be feeling great, and PartinG's got to be like, shit, you know, not looking fun for him at all.
Nah, he's feeling groovy today, mate. He's feeling groovy. My boy Rogue. Yeah.
You think
Look
he's
at him.
Okay. Well,
he's opening with pool first, which I kind of respect the hustle. You know, it's like, all right, you know, another pool first. I see why you do it. You know, you're afraid of the cannons. But on the other hand, it's like, really, like, is he really gonna cannon rush a 3rd time in a row? But you know, it's PartinG, and it's the best mind game there is as well. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, who expects a cannon rush for a 3rd time if it failed twice?
But then you do it, and then you're like, boom. But then Rogue still goes pool first, so.
All right, Wardy, it's time to see if you actually know a lot about StarCraft, or you're just what you call the pretenders.
Fake,
yeah, just a con man.
Ah, con man. Okay.
So what big thing happened here for PartinG? What did he do different? Come on, Wardy, you can do it.
What did he do different?
Yeah, from a regular game. What is different here?
Scouts the gas in the main? I don't
No.
know.
There's something in the build order. Come on, Wardy.
I'm under so much pressure. You go Cybernetic core before Nexus.
Yes! Cybernetic core before Nexus. Fantastic call. Now, why would he do this, you might wonder?
Because it's pool first?
I have a theory. Yeah, but probably because of pool first. Because if you don't do this, it's very difficult to scout your opponent's base. But now he's not using it to scout. So I'm not entirely sure what it was for. Perhaps it makes him feel safer. Perhaps... I don't know. It just... All I know is that it cost a bunch of money. It cost you about 2 probes that you cut. And maybe like 60 minerals or so that you lose. So it's a pricey investment. Oh, he's misreading this. A battery as well. Yeah. He's... Oof. This is painful. Yikes.
Obviously, Overlord speed coming up, so the last thing you want is like a defensive shield battery. Overlords aren't going to come and kill you. I mean, maybe...
And that's a chrono on the warp gate, eh?
Yeah.
That's a chrono on the warp gate. It is really painful for PartinG.
He's real afraid. Second gateway coming up. I mean, he does have the Robo, so he's going to get an Immortal. Chrono boost on the Immortal as well now. At least that's not so bad, because it frees up the Robo a little bit faster for other things too. Immortals are never bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to follow this up with an Immortal. Yeah. It's the solution I see.
But of course, I mean, anything you do to slow down the Immortal in this Rogue, so forcing a shield battery, amazing. You know, the longer you have to prepare for this, the better it is. Overlord scouts in the main, sees a couple of extra gates, sees the Immortal already as well, sees Chrono boosting on the Robo facility still, so pretty good read from Rogue.
This is really painful because he gets scouted completely, like just, and this is the kind of build. So there's Immortal all-ins, which even if scouted can be difficult to hold, but this is one of them all-ins, which is like, this is meant to surprise because it hits so quickly, you know. And Rogue just sees the prism. He's like, wait, it's this? He's like, I'm surprised he doesn't have a Roach Barn. I'll admit to that. I'm really surprised he doesn't have a Roach Barn. And I'm surprised there's not a Spine yet. But now it's actually going to be a bit hard, I believe. Because the funny thing is, the push that PartinG is doing is he wants to hit as quickly as possible. But the longer PartinG waits, the better it will get for him now. Because Lynx don't scale very well against this army. Yeah. PartinG, of course, is blissfully unaware of this fact, that there is mass Lynx. And yeah, he took a... Ooh, actually, this is a good fight. These are really good force fields.
Lose the prism.
That's painful. I don't think there's enough Lynx to chase this, though. So if he gets into a position where the Queens can't fight, and he managed to keep the Immortal alive... Yeah, look. PartinG is doing this so well. This exactly what... No, PartinG, you should move back, most likely. I don't mind him going to the tower too much. He's sending a couple of zealots across the map. He's playing this fantastically. With the info PartinG has... Oh, slight miss micro there on the Immortal, but...
Immortal gets fully surrounded. He's going to stay alive for a moment or two longer. The extra zealot showing up, and the Immortal's still alive. That's the big part.
Okay, PartinG is transitioning because he believes the Roach Warren is done already. If PartinG knew there was no Roach Warren, he warps in 5 more zealots and kills him. Right? Like, what's there on the map? 23 links, there's 5 zealots already. Yeah, instead he's getting more sentries and slowly but surely a couple of extra zealots. But ideally you just have pure zealot against this. Oh, he's still moving forward though.
Yeah, Ling's going to come in for this round. This time the Prism is just, well, nowhere to be seen, right? Because the Queens are a little bit scary. The Prism coming towards now is going to be there just in time to save the Immortal. So yeah, Rogue's dead, man. Wow.
This is crazy. I can't believe this is working. It's still not over though. It's still not over. There's Roach on the way. Worker count is even. There's a lot of Queens. There's 7 Queens. There's 2 more on the way. And this push by PartinG does not scale too well, alright? It does not scale too well. Like, there's no extra Immortals. There's no upgrades coming. And there is a Dark Shrine on the way, which is cool. But Rogue is also pretty cool. And he's scouting with an Overlord. And he already has a layer. So it's not as scary.
Yep,
this is
possible answers set up. Overseer's actually already morphing in, so he's going to be very well prepared if DTs show up. There's a couple more sentries coming down. Obviously, those Roaches are there now too, and this is a bit of a concave from Rogue as well, right? This is PartinG attacking into the dream position for Rogue to just kind of come in, swoop in for the surround. Good couple of force fields, keeping some of the units off as the Lings get in here. I do feel like that Prism is in a bit of a dangerous spot where if the Queens moved up, they might have been able to stop it getting to the army. Doesn't quite happen though just yet. The Prism is there to reinforce. The Queen's still kept away by the force field, and that's essential so it doesn't target the Prism. Now the third base in some trouble from Rogue, and he's losing mining time.
Yeah, some slight micro by PartinG on those zealots though. Really pull the zealots for free into the Queens as he was microing zealots drones. Now we have an interesting scenario where PartinG's army isn't bigger anymore, but Rogue needs to rebuild workers. So it is quite tricky. Like, what exactly is the answer here for Rogue?
Did PartinG target fire down the Overseer? He did. So there's no Overseer at home anymore for Rogue. He's just morphed one in on the top side of the map. So these DTs are actually going to get some damage done when they really shouldn't have done originally.
Oh no, he's attacking the
extractor. No, he shows it. Rogue has to pull away, morph an Overseer, so it's on the way at least. Still, obviously, a little bit painful to pull drones, but nowhere near as painful as losing them.
Yeah, that was... If he actually gets 4 or 5 workers there, that's so big in this scenario, because these are workers that the Rogue actually can't really afford to rebuild. Like, even the worker count he's on right now is, you know, this is on the edge. So if he would have lost 4 more, these are workers he's not getting back. And then you just don't have enough workers. Like, you're just going to get outmined by PartinG. Who is taking a 3rd base? I would love to see a forge being added for PartinG, by the way, here. Like, a forge would be fantastic. Another move that could be cool is a fake Prism into the main with a hallucination, you know?
Yeah.
That could really pull away a big part of the armor, but there is charge on this army. There's a lot of force fields. Oh, these force fields are absolutely amazing as the Argos are moving forward. Charge on these zealots is putting in some work. Only a single Immortal, but it's shelling away. 19 kills already. Good micro on these Archons by PartinG as Rogue is desperately trying to hold on. But don't forget, this is inflated supply because it's pure Roach. Now, Roach is kind of the army you want against this, so even though the supply is inflated by the Roaches, it kind of is an okay unit. And this army of PartinG doesn't have a lot of damage. Look how many sentries there are, and look how little Immortals. Only a single Immortal.
Yeah. Well, Crow's about to push it back a little bit. PartinG's trying to go Robo-Bay behind all of this, by the way, so still tacking up. Third Nexus down, but obviously not many probes on it, just somewhere to send probes as 10 minutes in. Main base is starting to start losing some patches, so the extra Nexus helps. Roach speed is about to kick in from Rogue, which should help him take some of these fights here. Still being very defensive, and he's actually just waiting for some overlords to finish out of a supply block, although not a lot of money to spend on that supply block anyways.
We have a forge, some extra probes being built as well. Look at this DT on the left side. This is a brilliant play. He baits Rogue into a fight as this DT is moving in. And please don't attack an extractor this time. No, he will be going for the drones. 2, 3 drones will fall immediately. 4 drones go down and he tries to run away. And now perhaps he can get into a good position with his main army as he pulls away the army of Rogue. And this is some very delicate playing. 4 zealots heading into the main base as well. Imagine if this was a fake Prism. You just pull a couple of units out of position there. There's no detection in the main. If there was a DT in there, Rogue would be in trouble.
Well, he can warp in DT now if he wants. He's going to warp in some more zealots. He's still trying to push at the front, drop some force fields. But he's not going to capitalize on it at all. As the Roaches just still trying to get rid of these zealots, which are charging on forwards. Roaches going down at the moment. Taking some more damage. Prism will lift up a couple of zealots. Pull them away to the right side.
A single DT there really would have put in some work, eh?
Yeah, there would have been nothing to shut that down. There's actually Rogue's going to slip up the left side of the map, so now PartinG might be a bit out of position. He's going to take down these rocks as well, so PartinG might have to push up a ramp into this as well. Rogue, okay, it's just taking a bit too long taking down the rocks, and now PartinG is going to be there, and this is a position I don't think Rogue can really fight in. The force fields are really good, so now Rogue kind of is forced to turn and fight. The next set of force fields great as well, because he's got so many sentries, and a disruptor shot gets one of the Ravagers. I mean, again, more force fields as the sentries start getting a bit of trouble here. Could do with some more zealots to maybe tank a little bit. Next disruptor shot, going to find it. Oh, somehow only one Ravager again. Of course, going to hit a clump of them. Now some extra roaches showing up from Rogue. He's still pressing forwards.
Yeah, we're lacking some DPS in this PartinG army, but I believe the supply is in such a spot that even though the DPS isn't too high, he just has barely enough units to hold on. And now we're gonna get a very, very wild game. That's not quite a fire alarm, but it's similar.
This is the ding dong game of the day.
The ding dong game of the day. This is a very, very rough game.
Disruptor shot fires. One roach gets picked off here, and we still see Rogue trying to do something, but the Disruptor's now forcing back so often that he can't just jump on this anymore if he wants to. Another Disruptor shot there, trying to use the force field to help, and he does blow up a bunch of roaches. And that's where Rogue now really is in some trouble. But building into a Lurker Den means that, of course, Rogue at least has a transition underway. He can get to a good amount of Lurkers here, there's some possibility, but it's about buying time for long enough that he actually can get into that Lurker count, because, again, if he gets there, those Stalkers probably not great. But yeah, how do you get to enough Lurkers when PartinG's already pushing across the map? And PartinG, by the way, 1.5k, 1.5k in the bank, if he just spent his money, would probably just overwhelm Rogue here and now. He might do that anyways, as he pushes across the map. Rogue's lost a lot to those Disruptors in the last couple connections. Looking very, very good for PartinG right here to take Game 3 and keep himself alive in the series.
Yes, a couple of big Disruptor shots are coming in. Oh, Roach is just falling and falling, and PartinG's being so aggressive with this army, and even if he just hits like 3-4 links, I mean, it's better than hitting, right? Because he's also outproducing Rogue at the moment. Like, he has more income, he has better upgrade, he's getting a fort base as well. I'd love to see +2 start on top of this, as this army still is a little bit vulnerable. Like, sure, it's a big army, and at this point he might be able to just fight straight up, but it still feels scary to just walk in. But PartinG is not afraid, blinks forward, throws out one more Disruptor shot. The final Disruptor shot hits a single Ravager, which was about to die anyway, but I mean, there's nothing left for Rogue. Blink forward, and I think this is gonna be hit. Blink Stalker Disruptor to finish out the game that started with a 5-gate Immortal in after a pool first. This is a PartinG game, Barty. Gas. So Roach definitely is the way. Like, Roach always is the way to go against any type of Immortal. And like, Ling never, really never is the way. Ling Queen is not good at defense. And I mean, he figured it out, I guess, last game. So curious to see what PartinG has for us in store this game, because if there's one thing I'm very sure about, Barty, is that whatever's gonna happen, PartinG is in the driver's seat.
Well, let's see if the passenger will have an impact. Some backseat driving maybe from Rogue. Our red Zerg in the top right-hand side.
And in the bottom left, the man that starts with a pylon in his own main base. It is TPG's PartinG. So Rogue once again starting with a pool first, though. Look at that. Went up to 17 workers.
Yeah. He's gonna just do it again and again, man. He just really believes in himself once he gets into this. Like, he's just like, yeah, if I don't die to your nonsense early, I'm fine. Well, obviously it didn't turn out last game, but yeah, really believing in himself.
Funnily enough, the only time he didn't get cannoned is the one game he lost.
Yeah. Maybe PartinG should have thought about that a bit more before he goes into this. Oh, the Overlord just sat there watching it as well. This is where Rogue cancels the hatchery, builds a second gas like the first game, I guess, right? Like, if your response worked so well in that first game, why not respond like that again in game number 4 now, when it's, you see it early enough to?
Yeah, and he starts mining the minerals. I really like this move, actually. I think it's a cool move.
Let's see the Rotron dropping down the main.
This has to be absolutely heartbreaking being PartinG, right? I mean, seeing no hatchery here is like...
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What do you do to change it up as PartinG at this point to make this work? Like, what do you have to do?
So you have to build
game?
further backwards. This is the correct call, what he's doing. Yeah. You give up the idea of high ground altogether. You can pretend like you want it, but you don't really want it. This robo is too close still, I believe. I think it might be able to get hit from the high ground. But yeah, you just... So the funny thing is, if you play against this, you're playing one base against one base, yeah? Like, this is... It's not that bad for you if you can get immortals. Like, if you get 2 immortals out, you win the game. Like, your opponent's never going to outproduce you, you just have better units. Like, it's going to play one base Spire, no, it's impossible. So, all you really need to do is survive. Which, then the question is it possible to survive in this case? And that I'm not sure about. Like, it might be, it very well might be. I just don't know, honestly. Like, quite frankly, I have absolutely no clue. I'm not a massive fan of the cannon at home. I think if you know your opponent scouted this and you know the response first game, you just get an adapt, right? Just get an adapt. You can send it across the map, you can threaten a bit. These buildings that PartinG is building as well, by the way, way too close to each other. He can always hit double buildings. You see? Bam. Just constantly hitting double buildings. This is a mistake. I don't like the observer first here. I don't understand why we're wasting chrono boost on that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have plenty of chrono boost, I guess, but I mean, why would he care about high ground?
Yeah.
All you care about is keeping the low ground at this point. I do not understand this. I do not understand this.
Gonna see Corrosive Bars in amongst that. There's only one shield battery of energy left. A few lingers coming into, but loses 2 Ravagers rogue. And there's still 2 cannons up as well, and the Immortal's about to pop, so I don't think this has really worked, right? Immortal pops and these Roaches are in a lot of trouble.
No way, Roach. No way. Absolutely no way. No. Yeah, so PartinG actually found the counter to his counter, which is very funny.
Yeah.
This is what you call it? Inter-series adaptation, or in the series itself. Give me a fancy word with your Pneumatic Scarifies, Wardy.
This is right, you know, amongst...
Fantastic.
In the series. I guess you could just say mid-series, though. It's like the Overlord speed to my Pneumatic Scarifies.
So we have a first Immortal popping into the main base now. Now it's going to be hard for Rogue. Like, it's not over, but...
He lost so much already, right?
Damn, if PartinG doesn't win this game. You know, like, PartinG's micro is too good to lose anything here. He has 6 batteries. There's like 4 more on the way, 3 more on the way. Counting never been my strong part. There also was 7 batteries already, so going up to 10 batteries. I mean, he's just gonna have infinite energy, and Rogue can't even threaten the other side of the map. So what is there to do for Rogue here, except roll over and die? Like, do you see anything else happen here?
No, I mean, these Immortals just gonna clean out. There's just nothing, right? Like, we're getting a few more Roaches up here and there, but Immortals just gonna keep trading really well against them. Shield batteries for days. You can't go across the map as Rogue. You have no tech, bar Roach Ravager. There's absolutely nothing going his way at all.
Freaking PartinG.
I think fun to have as well, because we've had like a lot of just regular macro games today, right? Especially. This is like something you don't see every day. A best of 5 that's like 3 cannon rushes deep and still thrilling to the end. As we start in the top left hand side, our blue Protoss player, PartinG.
On the other side of the map, we have our boy Jinna Greenwings Rogue.
PartinG with the low ground pylon here to get this going. We'll obviously get that gateway down, and Rogue, is he going to go for the hatchery first? He is.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's just no good way to make it work, right, the cannon rush. So, he believes in the straight up hatchery. Doesn't believe PartinG will go aggressive again.
I guess it's more difficult on this map, but both players seem to agree that this is the proper way to move forward. So you have PartinG coming in with a little bit of a probe scout here.
Yep.
Does see the hatch. It's like, ah, come on, man. I don't cannon rush one game. This is what you do to me. He's trying to fake it though. I appreciate the hustle.
Gets a drone off the mineral line that otherwise wouldn't have moved over here. So yeah, and it actually stays off a while. Just checks everywhere he can, just to make sure. As, now he's gonna start getting this working on the gas. Gonna send one drone to deal with the probe as well, which is trying to knock drones off of the mineral mining as well. just going to be seeing a home parting going into the Nexus and then the Cybercore, so really the most standard build we've seen from parting all across the way. Even that game 3, of course, was, you know, Cybercore before Nexus, maybe a bit afraid of things. This time he's going to just build up into, again, regular opening. We'll see what he can do from here.
Yeah, I am quite curious to see what it is. I haven't seen a standard parting game in like forever. He always plays aggressive, right? Like he likes his cannon rushes, he likes his formation. It opens up with Stalker first.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That really is quite interesting. So
usually a Depth Stalker, if anything.
Yeah, so we're gonna see some big Overlord denial. Now, if it stays with just the Stalker, this could go into the fast DT, the triple DT drop, which is, no, he gets an Adept afterwards. There's another build that he's fond of. Okay, this is it. He's pulling 2 out of gas. This is the 5-gate Glaive Adept. So there's a very famous 5-gate Glaive Adept build that I made, Wardy. I'm gonna claim full credit here. And PartinG played it a couple of times. I believe he beat Solar in GSL with it. Stats played it against Serral on BlizzCon. Should have won with it. And I know PartinG is particularly fond of it. Here we go, 2 extra gateways. And he will be adding a couple of more soon.
So Glaive starting up. Getting that Robo down. And Rogue going to be under some early pressure. This is it. For all the marbles. What if this goes to Katowice? This is what PartinG decides to pull out. So what does Rogue have to do to defend this? He will scout it now, as he comes into the main with this Overlord. He's going to get to see the gates, see the resonating glaives. And that should, you know, mean that he's on full information, but he was also on full information in that game on Triton, where he then decided to stick on Lings and try to play Ling Queen when it obviously wasn't going to work out either. So he's going to drop the Roach Roaring down quickly. And a lot of this is just going to be about having Roaches in the right position. Stop those Adepts from pulling you apart and going in so many different directions at once.
Yeah. He also starts a single Spine Crawler in the main base. So the way you want to do this build is you walk kind of towards the natural, shade into the main, and then walk with your Adepts towards the third to pretend to put on some pressure to the third. And I guess if he finishes the shade, there will be a Spine in the main, which is difficult to deal with.
Yeah. Spine Crawl in the main base, because Spine Crawls also take target and priority from Adepts too, right? So then you'd have to manually target fire the drones, I think. So that's also a little benefit. He's going to run into the third, and he's going to shade to the natural. I think, though, now you know those Adepts are either going to shade, or do you care otherwise, because there's nothing to pull away on the third base, unless he's doing some damage to the hatchery. Some Roaches coming over, first one Nelly going down, shade number 2 coming across, Dark Shrine behind this from PartinG.
And this is looking a little bit scary for PartinG. There's a lot of Roaches out of it. Once you get pushed away from the third base like this, it basically means that you can't properly threaten the main anymore either. So we're gonna need to see a couple of extra Adepts here. Now, where's the Dark Shrine? Has it been spotted yet? No, it hasn't been. There's 2 Overseers on the way. Rogue is completely aware of what's happening here. He's seen this before. We see 2 Adepts trying to do some damage into the third base. It's not really working.
A lot of Adepts going to move through in towards the main base now, but again, they will not commit to that shade, so at the moment, Rogue defends and defends handily, which just means that now he's going to start pumping out a few more drones, and, well, I mean, PartinG's going to add on an Immortal as well. Does he just turn this into like a follow-up all-in with maybe like a couple Archons, some DTs, and Immortals and Adepts? Is that his only way forwards?
Yeah, he might even just cancel the Dark. There's really no point. He could also go into an Archon drop from this, but also seems unlikely. Spore being built in the main base right now, so okay, yeah, it's going to be either a 4 DT drop or it's going to be an Archon. No, it's going to be a 4 DT drop. Yeah. I have a hard time imagining this to do anything.
Yeah, I kind of can't imagine it either, right? There's Overseer sat here on the third base, there's a Spore in the main, there's another Overseer somewhere as well. As the Adepts will still not shade in, so just kind of retaining them, and he's going to drop a Forge, which says he wants to get an upgrade. Which shows the Queen's trying to get rid of the Prism, and loses a Queen there. The Prism does get a bit low.
He might turn his 40Ts into Archons now. He's getting blinked. Yeah. I mean, this is a weird follow-up that I'm not quite aware of. He might just be going into a longer macro game now and get his +1 and just play a proper game. Problem is that Rogue is kind of free to drone up to 66 at this point. A lot of drones are going down though. 10 workers did fall to those adepts, but this also means you lose all your map presence, right?
Yep. This was everything that PartinG had on the map to sort of say, hey, you know, I'm right here, make sure you stay at home, make sure you stay safe. Instantly, Rogue starts moving forwards, and these adepts have turned around into the roaches too, so he's going to lose another one of these in a second. Rogue will target that down. The other one cancel its shade, which, I mean, it wasn't going to do much on its own. At the same time, the DT show up on the third base, and the roaches are just a little slow to clean them out, so 5 workers killed. PartinG at least doing something. Is then going to recall the Prism. But Rogue's army has turned back around, so I think he brought the Prism home expecting to have to defend here, but not the case. Rogue just brings his army back home, waiting for that Spire to come up as PartinG moves into the Robo Bay +1 and Blink.
Yeah, we do have Blink getting very close to finishing up, and I guess it's just going to be Colossus, as it seems weird to build Disruptors in this game. Like, the eco is too good, if you're playing Disruptor, you want high-value targets, and there's not that many high-value targets. Like, there's still a lot of roaches on the map now, but we're going to be switching out of those roaches either into Link Bane or, I guess in this case, add some Hydralisk. Spire does finish up. Will we see some Muta start?
Well, he's going to start 6 of them, and already the Hydra's on the way, like you mentioned, so Rogue's just kind of, you know, playing pretty tricky. He's going to go 10 Mutas. Guess 10 meters and then move in towards Disrupt. Do you think he's gonna go Lurkers? Or do you think he just builds Hydras?
Well, he has range upgrades, so it seems Lurkers is like. This seems like a ZVZ game.
Yeah,
like Muta
right.
into Lurker from Roach Ravager initially. It's like, alright, buddy. You do you.
Well, these Mutas are going to be able to counter, but obviously they're not going to help much in this immediate fight. So the Roaches, for the moment, though, show up and are going to be able to do okay. As Mutas now coming around, they're going to have to go and they will chase down the Prism. I don't think recall's available, right? Because it's on cooldown. It is. So the Mutas are going to kill off the Prism with 4 DTs in, or one of them drops down, but the 4 DT gets picked off anyways. The one positive for PartinG is, okay, at least I know the Mutas are out. So now I can send some Stalkers, and he already has a lot of Stalkers, right? So now you can send some Stalkers home, but it buys Rogue time to get into the Lurkers.
Yeah, and funnily enough, against Lurker, Disruptor is kind of an okay thing to build, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Kind of down with that.
Double infestation pit, by the way.
Nice. Nice.
Obviously, Hive is very important nowadays if you're going to play Lurkers, because that Seismic Spines upgrade, it changes the Lurkers like completely. Like 8 range to 10 is a huge difference. So it's very important to get the Hive up nice and quickly alongside your Lurker Den, as you do see the Mutas backing away. And Rogue did not realize the infestation pit in time to cancel it.
Well, PartinG trying to get up to a decent gate count, as he'd been stuck on 5 for a long time now, finally going up to 8, but what PartinG really needs is a 4th base at this point. Like, Rogue is slowly but surely droning up to the desirable drone count of 75, 74. The other end we have PartinG, who is, I mean, he's at 62 workers and he has decent income, but his main is starting to run out, and the patches in his natural are starting to run dry as well. Like, he definitely needs to start investing into a 4th base and its subsequent defenses, otherwise he's going to be in a little bit of trouble.
He's just trying to press forwards there, but again, more than anything, they're just keeping Stalkers at home. With the Colossus on the way out, Hive about to be done from Rogue. Again, Rogue's kind of happy to just sit back at the moment, play on these Lurkers. This PartinG will have to figure a way out to deal with that. As he scouts into the main, he's going to see, well, Hive is about to be done here, so there's a good timing on when those Lurkers are going to get that Seismic Spines up and running. Otherwise, just, again, checking across the board. But once you see that Hive, there's not really much else to see, right? You know, the Hive is pretty much everything in terms of what can happen next from Rogue's composition.
Yeah, it's kind of a gateway drug in that way. Like, it's the gateway to everything, my friend. Like, if you get the Hive, you can get the Greater Spire, you can get the Lurker upgrade. Oh, you can even get Microbial Shroud if you're feeling lucky.
Yeah, okay, mate. We'll see how that
Microbial Shroud, kind of the heroine of the upgrade, in a way. It's like, it sounds fun, but in the end, it's not that good.
Didn't they change Microbial Shroud anyways? Or was that just a suggestion?
I have no clue, mate.
Yeah, nobody even kept up with this upgrade at all. Alright, well, army here from Partin hanging out on the left is just here to kind of get rid of these meters, which are at this point obviously kind of expired units. Not really going to be able to do much at all. So they're going to move up in towards the main base and again get a couple extra pros, but they really don't mind going down at this stage. They've done their job. Rogue is now very comfortably onto a lot of workers. Hive, Adaptive Talon's on the way now. Seismic Spines is done. He's got everything he wanted to build up into here.
He's even getting tunneling claws.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I guess interesting, right? He's still got quite a few roaches you can use that with, so just not something you see invested into this late in the game, or in ZVP in general oftentimes, but let's see how it works. Little changelings going down.
Ooh, Knight is into the main base, which isn't being spotted by PartinG as he's lacking a little bit of vision. If a Nidus with lurkers enters his main base, he's in a world of trouble, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, disruptor shot here, gonna hit a single lurker for the moment. Here come the lurkers into the main. That's gonna be goodbye to the Robo Bay in just a few short moments, I think. And Roach is coming out here as well. He's actually gonna unburrow the lurkers and bring them back because PartinG's committed to the fight forwards, and Rogue seems to think he can't hold on. So Rogue is gonna pull back, but he's already lost so much of this now. Well, this army of PartinG continue to press forwards, and he is absolutely breaking through Rogue across the map. Okay, so he has got lurkers across the map as well. That's why he's so weak here.
Yeah, but this seems like a bad trade for Rogue. Rogue was in such a commanding lead and kind of risking it all for a base trade. Lurkers aren't that great in a base trade. They kill stuff really slowly, and PartinG on the other end is great in a base trade. Like, he moves quickly with Blink Stalkers, has disruptors to break turtling positions. Well, I guess he doesn't have a disruptor anymore, but back in the day he used to have a disruptor. Colossus doing some work on top of those drones, and I think when the dust settles in this fight, PartinG kind of comes out ahead. If he manages to save everything at home, and Rogue doesn't just straight up counterattack in the night, I feel like even if PartinG goes back home right now, he's in a great spot. He's up like 20 workers.
Yeah, he's killed a lot here. 40 workers going down, and Rogue down heavily. As he's just about holding on. PartinG maybe can't push up this ramp any further. There's a few units still on the other side of the map from Rogue that are still dealing a bit of final, a few final blows. He might send more across the map in the Nidus, which is still up in the main base, so you get some more pressure in towards the main potentially.
Yeah, but I mean, how ballsy are you, Wardy? Like, that's a very to make at this point in time. Like, he's under a lot of pressure. I would love to see a couple of DTs to deal with these lurkers, by the way. Yeah. Like, DT Observer really would do well in the defense at this point. And now, yes, the Nidus is being used, and 3 more lurkers join up, but pure lurker by itself isn't that scary. Recall isn't quite of... Oh, Recall just got used. That's why it's not available. Yeah.
Yeah, he already recalled. Right. More lurkers going to come out that Nidus, though, so he's going to push PartinG back away. PartinG just can't quite deal with this. Oh, there's no detection here, though. So there's the DTs you were talking about, and that's instantly going to turn a couple of lurkers back. Oh, the Overseer was just a little bit too far to the top side. The Hydra's trying to dive in, but obviously trying to fight against Colossus. Hydras don't look so good, and PartinG's going to clean up that Nidus here in the main.
Yeah, there's still 1 lurker left. They're trying to hit the natural, but I think it's going to be slightly too slow as the observers do come down. Fun fact is that the observer speed did get cancelled by the initial lurker attack. It was like 90% done or 85% done. Now, if we take a look at the state of this game, we notice that PartinG has almost no production left, which is an issue because he has a lot of money. Actually, he rebuilt 3 extra gates. He has loads of production now. 7 gates. He's getting 2 extra robotics facilities. Like, PartinG is in a really good position. He actually can spend his money. He has good income. He has a fort base, which the same can be said from Rogue, and PartinG knows exactly where he needs to hit. Like, he has a lot of areas to attack here. He can go into the natural, he can go up to the third, and he can go up to the fort base. And this fourth and third are impossible to defend at the same time. Like, there's no position in between that covers both angles, No. So, if PartinG realizes this, sees, hey, there's 8 lurkers at your fort, like, what's at your third exactly? And this is a trick by Rogue, right? These are 2 lurkers. Like, this is not enough to defend. I think PartinG is about to realize as well. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah. He sees it with that observer. He's going to come back up to the top where there's... I mean, those lurkers are just kind of on their own, right? Rogue has to come down an awful choke point to get down here. Take some damage in the process. The Colossus will be pushed away for the moment. Not finding that entry point just yet, but... he's still sitting in a very comfortable position, the bottom left-hand base mining away. He's actually going to blink up here now, so now he's going to try and go for this, but I do feel like he's eating quite a few lurker shots kind of in the build-up to that, which has hurt. I mean, look at those Colossus. They are hurting real bad.
Yeah, we have the slowest run by in the world with a couple charged zealots in control. Of course, they're decently upgraded, so they will deal with these links well, even though they're slow as all hell. And we have 3 immortals being produced at the same time from the 3 robotics facilities. I'd love to see a 5th base at this point from PartinG. There's no way that Rogue is going to do anything aggressive. Yeah, here we go. 5th base does get started, and PartinG just checks like, hey, no 5th base for you, my friend. What you gonna do when they come for you? And he sends a DT to the top base, but there's a Spore there, there's Overseers. I have to admit, the defense of Rogue has been absolutely fantastic so far.
Really pristine.
I really did not think it was possible to defend this 4th base. But Rogue is proving me wrong, and he has Vipers now. Viper Lurker. If Zerg has anything to come back into a game, this has to be it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you can trade so well. By the way, doing all of this part did a great job shutting down a Nidus Worm or 2, so no counter-aggression from Rogue available. And PartinG, well, he's now gonna... I like this as well, splitting up the Stalkers a little bit, right? They're very mobile, they have the Blink. They have a little bit down over here, threaten perhaps a blink in toward the main. You know, it just makes Rogue think about, you know, there is possibility that PartinG does something down there, and that maybe then weakens up defense elsewhere. In the end, PartinG just going to go rebuild the Robo Bay, Storm on the way too, which is obviously when you're playing against, you know, Hydra, Viper, Lurker. Storms are great against the Lurkers, they're great against the Hydras, and if you have High Templar, you can get a couple feedbacks on Vipers every now and then too, which is obviously only going to help as well, so... Stalkers do commit into the main eventually. Look at the Spore Throwers now, an attempt to Nidus in the main, but guess what? PartinG shuts it down again. Those Niduses are just not allowed to come up, so Rogue gets 0 counter-aggression into game here.
Yeah, Stalkers do blink out without taking any real damage. He spotted like 8 Lurkers there, but there's, Jesus, 23 Lurkers on the map right now. And as a response to that, we see a fleet beacon out of PartinG, who's going up to 65 workers, is comfortably on 5 bases, but he hasn't really been able to find an angle whatsoever yet.
The beacon dropping death from PartinG in the main base, second Stargate as well, so getting the Oracle's obviously kind of a nice maneuver, right? Make sure you can get revelations on some of the Lurkers, definitely helps. I have to say though, you said it before, Rogue's defense has been great, and he's been able to stall this game out towards him maxing. And I feel like once you get there with the Lurkers and the Vipers, now PartinG has to be so much more careful, because now he really is just one, you know, a few abducts and a bad fight away from being completely overrun and a counterattack from Rogue getting a lot done.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've been talking about how PartinG's eco is better, but it's not like he's outmining him by like 2,500 minerals a minute. No. It's like 400 or 500 minerals a minute, alright? So one bad fight still will lose him the game, and this is a lot of freaking Lurkers. How are you gonna engage into 27 Lurkers and 4 Vipers? How are you gonna... He can't even engage into 6 Lurkers.
Yeah.
He's just gonna get surrounded by Lurkers.
Yeah, these Stalkers, they really just aren't the unit you want in this scenario at all. Like, they've been great for poking around and going different ways. Now they're getting destroyed on the bottom side as he accidentally runs through. And this is Rogue getting a bit of a Lurker surround set up, and, well, PartinG has to find a way to fight this. He just doesn't have the army to fight it properly, and, oh, at the same time, Rogue doesn't have detection, so his Lurkers are going to start dying. He has, like, 5 Overseers to the top, none to the south side, so he has no way to deal with just 2 DTs moving forwards, and that's a big misplay by Rogue. 6 Overseers stacked on each other, and somebody is going to lag out.
Yes.
Classic.
Wasn't us.
What a timing. Well, like I say, if he had like 1 Overseer on the bottom side, he doesn't have to give up that Lurker position. But now he does. Yeah. Maybe PartinG can do something.
It's interesting though, because he got some good storms up on the top Lurkers as well. Ideally, PartinG would be kind of entering into another semi-base trade, not with his complete army, but with like a 20 zealot run by or like a 10 zealot run by. You know, just to the top base. So basically, what you want is you want to force Rogue to be at a complete all-in. You know, right now Rogue still has mining behind this, so Rogue just needs a good fight. But if you can force Rogue into a complete all-in, eventually you're always able to kill Lurkers, because Lurkers are so slow at killing buildings, even if you have 26 of them. Like they just don't do very well against buildings, because you just hit 1 building at a time, especially when you're fighting against the Nexus, and it takes a long time. You need to take care of your Overseers. Maybe some air units can pop out, you know, like a carrier or a couple of Void Rays.
Game pause.
Sorry, this countdown into pause was brilliant. Obviously, you pause the game before the guy lags out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, okay. Right, so away we go again as the lurkers come in on the top side then. So all the lurkers in one direction now. Doesn't feel quite as scary in a way, but at the same time, the damage output will be crazy. Here we go. A couple of blinding clouds coming down. The storms are great so far. Rogue lost a lot of the initial wave of lurkers here, but he just has so many. He continues to push on forwards, and he's going to get rid of this forward base, so PartinG will lose this, as now Zealots hit the top right side, and Rogue has left nothing at home defensively. He is fully committed across the map. A few reinforcements coming over, and well, no armor upgrades or anything on those Zealots. So +3 missile hydras actually clean them out a little faster than usual. And the Zealots will go down. I actually expected the Zealots to win that fight for a moment or two. Is not the case at all. Lurk is able to again zone PartinG up the ramp now.
There's a mothership hanging about. I'm very scared for this mothership. How many hydras is there? There's 6 hydras. That should be able to kill a mothership, right? 6 hydras?
Yeah, I mean you might need to abduct it twice though, right? Like
yeah, but I mean, yeah. I'm not quite sure what PartinG wants to do here. Like, I'm feeling a base trade with a lot of Templar left at home to throw down an occasional storm. You know, I think you have to give up your own forward base at this point. You can't engage into this, or I can't imagine.
Yeah, he's going to drop a blinding cloud to force the units further forwards, which will just bring them closer towards more of the lurkers. The lurker fire is crazy. He's losing a lot, but the lurker count is also dropping. They're both losing so much here. There is, what, 6 lurkers remaining as PartinG is going to cut off
There's no
a couple of
anti-air.
reinforcements. Yeah, the mothership can actually just kill it off. Well,
oh, this is a good burrow by the lurkers.
Yeah, but now they're going to start getting picked away at, right? They're going to maybe get an Archon or 2. So these lurkers are pretty much dead. There's 4 of them that are just about able to escape away at the moment.
If he moves back those 2 Archons, but that would be very nice for PartinG. I don't think he should be chasing with those face first.
No.
That would definitely be a mistake. Now, funnily enough, after all of this, Rogue is actually slightly outmining PartinG. Because the 4th of PartinG was so much earlier. Like, he really was relying on that 5th to do something. There's still 3 Vipers. There's a bunch of lurkers. I think PartinG needs to transition back into Immortal somehow, but he just doesn't have the cash available. Like, how does he get into that? Like, he gets a 5th base, which is a decision I agree with. But how does he ever get the cash for Immortals? Like, it's gonna take a long time for him to get that kind of money going. We have a Roach Run on the way for Rogue. I've seen it all now, Wardy.
The 24-minute Roach Run.
Yeah, I've seen it all. So it's gonna be a 3 Muta switch after this. It's just not something. It just doesn't. It's not a thing. This game is absolutely mad though.
Yeah.
And every unit counts.
After
Like,
so
you can't
many
just
short
throw.
games as well. That's great.
Yeah. You can't just throw away like 3 Zealots for a run by here. You know, like that's like 20% of your army.
Yeah.
It's really, really scary, and I love the decision of an Oracle. So you get that vision, like against Vipers. Like, even if he pulls like Zealots, it's almost worth it, you know. But he's gonna pull Archons. Yeah, 3 Archons, bam. 3 Archons and a Colossus go down. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the splash damage. Well, now there's only really High Templar left, which obviously on their own, what they're going to do, keep Storm, but it only takes a couple units to be chasing. Well, you can see the Archon's going to try and morph in. There's not the damage output to kill them before they recall, though. So he will see the Archon surviving. Yeah.
The mothership is going to do it. Look how many Zealots there is still, though. Like, if PartinG realizes that there's nothing here that can shoot up, like, the mothership can actually kill stuff. Like, it takes long, but in the end, you know, it gets it all. Decent engagement for...
Obviously, the Overseers are here to provide the detection. The Lurkers are killing off a lot right now. The Mothership's going to keep getting the kills, like you said, but how much is lost before then? These Lurkers going to go all the way towards this base. Rogue is really desperate to not let PartinG have this man, and he's going to warp in PartinG. Zealots on top of this. The Archons are so very low. The Zealots warping in go down. And now we're going to be seeing a couple of Lings into the mineral line as well. The Mothership is still picking up kills. The Oracle's trying to get kills. Warp Prison, warping Zealots on the right side, but again, the Zealots are just dying so quickly. Nexus goes down. With the Nexus fallen, Rogue will close it out to take Game 5 and qualify for Katowice. The previous champ will go there again, straight to the round of 24.